Let's start by talking about the Constitution and democracy. A little education this morning. The Don Lemon Show is brought to you by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. So let's talk facts, all right? Because across the U.S., politicians are trying to sneak religion into public schools. Posters of the Ten Commandments on classroom walls, chaplains without clinical training, voucher programs funneling public money into private religious schools, schools that often exclude LGBTQ students and non-Christians. It's happening right now. But the Freedom from Religion Foundation is fighting back. Just recently, they won a victory in federal court blocking a Texas law that would have forced every public school classroom to display the Ten Commandments. That's what it looks like to defend the First Amendment in court, in Congress, and in the classrooms, because public education should stay public. Kids should learn math, science, and history, not be pressured into religion. Learn more at ffrf.us/school or text my first name, Don, that's D-O-N, to 511-511. Don't let your rights be rewritten. Go to F as in Frank, F as in Frank, R as in Robert, F as in Frank.us/school or text Don to 511-511. Text fees may apply. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Don Lemon Show, Lemon Live at 5. There you see Jen Psaki. Jen, I don't know if you wore that yellow on purpose or if it was just a coincidence.
I
lemon yellow.
I love yellow, but now I'm going to tell you it's in honor of lemon, Don Lemon with lemon yellow. Exactly.
Thank you, Jen. I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining. You are amazing. I'm getting over a cold, and I'm watching you last night, and I was very emotional all day about what happened because, as you know, I've covered so many of these, as have you, and it took me back to the worst story that I've ever covered when anyone asks, and that's Newtown.
Yeah.
And so when I saw you being so emotional, I waited. I didn't want to send it to you last night, but I sent it this morning, and I just thought that you were human and real, and that's what we should be in this moment. I'll play a little bit of it, and then we'll discuss. Here it is.
I have been thinking, as I'm sure everybody who has consumed this today has been doing as well, about my kids who happen to be about the same ages as the two who were killed, about sending them off to school this morning. I've been thinking about their friends and their teachers, about all of the parents, about all of the grandparents out there navigating the return to school. And all they should be hoping to do is have someone to sit with at lunch or someone to play with on the playground. And they should be waiting to hear an update when they get home. And that is not what these parents at this school experience today. Sorry, this is a tough one. Having your child killed while they are sitting in a pew for a morning prayer service is not what any parent should have to worry about. And I have felt a mixture of anger and a lot of anger and emotional exhaustion about this today, as I'm sure many of you have, because we have been here so many times. And yet again, like clockwork, half of the politicians in our country have little more to offer than thoughts and prayers. That is all they are offering. Join all of us in praying for the victims, was Vice President J.D. Vance's response today. That's what he said. That's it. Please join me in praying for everyone involved, Trump wrote. We have seen this play out over and over again. There is a shooting, then come the...
Went into the whole thing about how often it happens, and we know too often. First, what are you thinking as you watch that? You're getting emotional again.
I know. Just like you, I think, and I obviously lived for 20 years in politics and working in government, when it is different from what you did for a long period of time, which was be present in Newtown and be present at the place of these shootings and talk to the families. But it is so devastating sitting in a White House or sitting in a congressional office or sitting really anywhere in this country and seeing this happen and feel so outraged that despite the fact that the overwhelming majority of the country, and this is not a political thing at all, wants there to be more restrictions, more sensible gun safety laws, bans on assault weapons, and background checks, that our political system does not allow it to happen. And it is just an example of it being broken. I have kids now, but it doesn't require having kids. It requires just having a heart and humanity and knowing anyone in any community. It's not just happening at schools, it's happening in neighborhoods, it's happening on street corners. And I don't want to state that either. But yeah, watching it, it is, as I said last night, it is thinking about my kids, but thinking about their friends and thinking about all of the kids and all of the parents and all of the grandparents and every community who just sits and worries about the impact that guns are going to have on their lives. And that is why I feel just and continue to feel outrage and sadness and a lot of emotions about it.
Do you remember Newtown? Were you with the Obama administration during Newtown when he made
I had worked on the re-election campaign for President Obama, and so I was not in the White House at the time. But by that point, I had worked for him for 6 years, and knew him well enough at the time to know he's a pretty, as you know, you covered him for a long time, stoic, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes was even criticized for how stoic he was. And the thing that got into his soul, which gets into so many of our souls, is when something impacts kids. And that day, you remember, I'm sure I do so well, watching, and I wasn't there, but I was watching as tears were coming down his face. And it was such a rarity for him, because I think he felt that being calm for the country was what he needed to present, even in moments of crisis. But it's like you can't control yourself in moments like this.
Jen, and once again, I really appreciate you coming on. This is the first place that you came after this happened. This is the first appearance that we're getting. And so I hate to play some of these things for you, but I want you to be able to respond to them real time. Sure. Because I think it's important, because I understand exactly what you were saying when you talked about that. You were saying it's not enough, not that people should not pray. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's what I think any normal thinking person would understand that. Mm-hmm. This is the first attack that I saw come to you yesterday.
Former Biden White House press secretary circle back Jen Psaki trying to pin the blame on Donald Trump with a bizarre tweet citing his efforts to crack down on crime in D.C., which, by the way, for the record, circle back, he has been enormously successful in doing. She wrote, quote, when kids are getting shot in their pews at a Catholic school mass and your crime plan is to have National Guard put mulch down around D.C., maybe rethink your strategy. No, they've been stopping the murder rate, the homicide. We went 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks without a single murder. They usually have 3.6 a week. Maybe somebody at MSDNC can open a book, learn something about AI, do a little bit of research instead of just peddling lies and conspiracy theories. What about the dozens of the school shootings that have taken place, by the way?
What do you think of that, Jen?
Look, first of all, this is definitely not about Sean Hannity. It's not about Caroline Levitt. It's not about Benny Johnson, J.D. Vance. There's a long list of people who have decided to attack me when what I was saying is, first of all, prayers are so important and so valuable to so many people around the world in moments of tragedy and moments of heartache. They're important to me too, but they are not a public policy and they don't solve crises. And I think the gun violence epidemic in our country is a crisis. So it's quite telling to me when a range of people are using their platforms to attack me, of all people. I'm just a host of a television show, instead of talking about solutions and what can be done to save our kids, to protect communities, to do more to prevent this from happening in the future.
Again, I had to play this because I want you to respond. And then came Caroline Levitt.
I have two questions for you. Sure. Democrats, including former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, attacked prayer and pushed gun control in the aftermath of yesterday's shooting. What's the White House's response to their comments?
Yes, I saw the comments of my predecessor, Ms. Psaki, and frankly, I think they're incredibly insensitive and disrespectful to the tens of millions of Americans of faith across this country who believe in the power of prayer, who believe that prayer works, and who believe that in a time of mourning like this, when beautiful young children were killed while praying in a church, it's utterly disrespectful to deride the power of prayer in this country, and it's disrespectful to the millions of Americans of faith. And I would encourage Ms. Psaki to pray for these families themselves who need it right now more than ever.
Jen?
I mean, again, it really doesn't matter who it's coming from. It's very similar. Prayer is a very powerful source of comfort to millions of people around the world. I recognize that. I value prayer myself. But the point is, and I will continue to raise this, it's not enough. It is not solving the gun violence epidemic in our country. And I will not stop raising that, because I think that is a key point people need to understand. And it is not protecting these kids. And the issue here is the guns. There are more guns in this country than there are people. There have been, and I looked this up because I think you follow this stuff. I mean, this is the 5th school shooting since August 1st.
Right.
Since August 1st. And that's when schools reopen. This is the 57th school shooting this year. That is a crisis. So when people are using, who have positions of power, their platforms to attack me, instead of talking about what they could do, what they should do, what should be done to solve it, that to me is what's disappointing.
Jen, I want to put up what you tweeted and show the audience, and then, because basically that's what you said. What you said, prayers are not enough. Prayer is not freaking enough. Prayer does not end school shootings. Prayers do not make parents feel safe sending their kids to school. Prayer does not bring these kids back. Enough with the thoughts and prayers. I totally understand and I agree 100%. And then the vice president got in on it. And responded saying, we pray because our hearts are broken. We pray because we know God listens. We pray because we know that God works in mysterious ways and can inspire us in future action. And then he said, why do you feel the need to attack other people for praying when kids were just killed and praying or something? And then he says, of all the weird left-wing culture wars in the last few years, this is by far the most bizarre. How dare you pray for innocent people in the midst of a tragedy? What are you even talking about? I don't think, can he read? Isn't he an Ivy League graduate?
I have no idea what that all is a reference to. I mean, as I've said, I think prayer, and you just gave the context of this, prayer is incredibly powerful. I mean, I grew up going to church every Sunday. I have a sister who's an ordained Unitarian minister. My mother-in-law goes to Catholic church every day. I see how much prayer is powerful in people's lives.
And
It's
Jen,
not
we
about
talked about
that.
this.
It's about the fact that you have a platform. You're the vice president of the United States. You can do something to address what is an epidemic and a crisis that is addressing kids in our lives. Yeah. Instead, you're taking time to attack me, which is quite telling. And I also think, Don, and you may have seen some of this, but I thought this was quite telling too. There was this, did you see this statement of the Archbishop of Chicago? Here's part of what he said. He said, tragically, we know no place or time when Americans, even children, are safe from the curse of gun violence. When we join our prayers with others, that those injured in body and spirit will head and that the murdered children will be received into heaven. We must also cry out for action to prevent even one more such tragedy. The point is this: prayers are comforting to people. They're a form of solace. They are not solving the crisis that we're living in. And if you're in a position of power, you have a responsibility to do more.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to go one beyond that, and I'm going to put this one up because this is from Pope Leo. Okay. Now, this was before he was Pope, but this was in 2017. And he says, to my colleagues, your cowardice act cannot be whitewashed. This is what he responded to. Be whitewashed by thoughts and prayers. None of this ends unless we do something to stop it. And then let's see, what was it before? This was after 2017 Las Vegas shooting. Pope Leo retweeted this from Senator Chris Murphy: your cowardice to act cannot be whitewashed by your thoughts and prayers. Mm-hmm. And so and they're supposed to be people of faith and Christians. You just told me your history and that you're a believer. As you know, I came on your show no more than maybe not quite a year ago to discuss my book on search for God in America. I once was lost. To talk about my faith. And as a person of faith, I am not offended by anything you said. And I think most people, if you are a Christian person and a believer, you would want to save the lives of children. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand how some people can be so warped by their own ideology, or maybe their sycophancy of Donald Trump. I don't know what it is, or the NRA, but I really can't explain it. You've been working in politics. I'm just a journalist, so maybe you can help me understand this or help the viewer.
I wish I had an explanation that made much sense. But I think sometimes when you don't want to talk about the solutions, you don't want to talk about the solutions. And there have been powerful forces. They mentioned one of them, the NRA, although they've been hit some weak points as of late. They've long time been massive donors to a range of politicians, most of them Republicans. I think they continue to have a hold. But why is it, this is one of the issues where there's such a massive disconnect, right, between where the public is, where the people are, who are not all registered Democrats, who are independents, who are Republicans. They have to be, by just the sheer numbers of people who support things like an assault weapons ban and background checks and red flag laws. And there are so many things that can be done that are sensible. I'm also a believer, and I talked about this last night, and you've covered so many of these. I mean, there are times when nothing happens, and that is maddening, no question. After the Tennessee shooting at the school, nothing happened. But 3 years ago, when there was the shooting at the Buffalo supermarket, and followed by Uvalde, something did happen in 43 days. And a number of Republican senators voted for the package. Was it perfect? It was not perfect. But that only came because the families and the communities put pressure on politicians to do something. And that's when something happens. So that's what gives me like any dose of hope in moments like this.
I want to put this up. It's from Don Jr. And the reason I'm putting it up is because I know that you have been a big advocate. I remember your monologue on your show about that Democrats should not throw trans people under the bus after the 2024 election. Don Jr. says, it's almost like the guns aren't the problem. Oh, and Madison, Wisconsin shooter last year was trans as well. And then he puts up all of these things about the Denver shooter, blah, 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 and just on and on and on. There are lots of lies in there. Walter
Master. No, it's not even accurate, but like,
not even accurate, right? And so I want to put this up, and then I'm going to get your response to it. This is from Walter Master. They break down the mass shooter: straight males, 98%; straight white male, 57%; trans, 13%. So he's lying to people and demonizing transgender people. Your response?
I mean, I don't think anyone is suggesting that there should be a rally against straight white males, even though they're 98%, right? Of these.
0.13. I said 13. It's 0.13. I'm sorry.
0.13.
Yeah.
You know, I think the thing is there are trans people all over the world, right? There are there's mental illness all over the world. We should do more to address mental illness. And unquestionably, there are a number of people, including, it sounds like the shooter from yesterday, who are struggling with mental illness. But the place where there is an epidemic is the United States, because there are more guns, and it is the guns. So I think any of these things are targeting communities for the purpose of targeting communities and changing the subject. This was one person who did it. This wasn't a community who did anything yesterday. It was one person. And it's more about discussing and talking about why that person had access to a tool of death that allowed them to shoot through the stained glass windows of a church during a morning church service with kids.
Are you going to address tonight?
I will. Stay tuned.
You will. No preview. And I'm not going to ask you, you'll just have to watch Jen's show. But Jen,
I still have to write everything down. It's only 5:20. You know how this goes.
Yeah, I know you'll be writing right up to showtime. One thing, if he would come on your show, would you interview him about this?
Who? Donald Trump?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No. Why not?
And you may, and that's your choice. I'm just not interested in platforming somebody who lies constantly. I'm not afraid of having tough conversations or conversations with people I disagree with. I've had plenty of people, Republicans, others, Democrats I disagree with on the show, but I think this deserves so much more than gaslighting. But that's my gut reaction right now.
Yeah. If he called you up, would you take his call? And if so, what would you ask him? What would you say to him?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that, Don. I feel like there's so much damage that he and this administration have done. I would really have to spend some time thinking about where I would even start.
It's a very, very fair answer. Jen, thank you. By the way,
Thank you, Don.
as from one anchor person to another, and I know that how long have you been doing it? About a year? You're in prime time.
2.5. Come
No,
on.
no, you had the show on the weekend, but I meant the primetime show.
Oh, 3 months.
Yeah. Excuse me. So in that moment,
months,
you don't know, when you start to cry, you don't know. It just comes. It's not like you're planning it. And then you can't stop it.
Yes.
Were you okay with it, or were you frightened to death? Because that depended on what I was doing, where I was either okay with it or frightened.
I was okay with it. It was real. That's how I felt. It wasn't the only time I cried yesterday. And there are a lot of things to be sad about. I mean, I have trouble getting through a range of stories these days. I'm a feeler. It sits on my arms about all the things. And I think in this moment, I try to hold it together to storytell on the show. And I try not to make everything seem like it's a 5-alarm fire, because then nothing is. Right. But there are moments where I feel genuine outrage and sadness. And I think it's okay to let it show.
Well, Jen Psaki, you are always in my prayers. And in
Thank you. You too.
Yeah. And God bless you. And I accept your prayers as well. Thank you so much for appearing on the Don Lemon Show. We'll see you soon. We'll be watching tonight.
Bye-bye.
Jen Psaki, thank you. I mean, do you understand what she was saying? I think they do too. I think she was very genuine about what she believes, and that she is not saying don't pray. She's saying it's not enough. That's what people are saying. Enough of the thoughts and prayers. They're not saying stop praying. But if you want to politicize it for political gain, if you want to co-opt people, and if you want to play on their fear and their anger and some sort of culture war, bizarro world, then okay, then you do you. I just want to tell you that we have the Lemon Legends here today. They're going to respond to Jen Psaki. Legends, I'm so sorry I did not bring them. I was going to let you guys, because you guys talked to Jen before the show, and maybe we'll share some of the conversation. I should have let you guys do it live. I'm so sorry. That's my bad. But we're going to hear from our legends, and we're also going to hear from Dr. Frita. She's going to talk to us about the CDC and what's happening with this alleged or supposed MAGA movement and RFK Jr. and what is happening with people leaving or being fired from the CDC and all of these changes that are happening as it relates to vaccines, et cetera, in our country. And then our legends. First, a word from our sponsors. Support comes from Shopify. The origins of this show started as just an idea and a dream, and here we are. The Don Lemon Show is not only just a streaming show, a podcast, it is a business, and Shopify makes it possible. Millions of entrepreneurs use Shopify to turn their dreams into real businesses. They power 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from big brands to brand new creators. And yes, we use Shopify right here to bring you the merch that you love and we love as well, that you demanded. So worried you can't design a website? Shopify has ready-made templates. Need to polish product photos or write better descriptions? Shopify has AI tools built just for commerce. Want to reach new customers? Shopify helps with easy email and social campaigns, and their award-winning customer support is their team. They're there 24/7 for you. So don't let your dream sit on the shelf. Turn what if into, and sign up for a $1 per month trial at shopify.com/lemon. That's shopify.com/lemon. And one more time, shopify.com/lemon. Support comes from Ollie. If my dogs, Boomer, Barkley, Gus, if they could talk, they'd beg for Ollie. They kind of do anyway. With the tail wags, the goofy grins, the little jumps when the food comes out. That's the Ollie effect. That's them communicating, saying, we love this. I tried every kind of food for my boys. Kibble, so-called premium brands, and half the time, they just sniff and they'd walk away, right? But with Ollie, empty bowls every single time. Ollie delivers fresh human-grade food. No fillers, no preservatives, just real meat and vegetables made in U.S. kitchens with recipes like fresh beef, sweet potatoes, fresh turkey, and blueberries. And even picky eaters go nuts. All right, so look at this. Look who just showed up when I started talking about Ollie. Honestly, sometimes I think my dogs are eating better than I am. So take their quiz. They have a 30-second quiz, and Ollie will build a meal plan just for your pup, right, Barkley? Plus, Ollie is the only fresh dog food that comes with unlimited routine health screenings because healthy food should mean a healthier life. So head over to ollie.com/lemon and use the code LEMON for 60% off your first box. That's OLLIE.com/lemon. Fresh food, happier dogs. That's my Barkley as doing the ad today. And he walked right up and I said, you know what? I'm going to put him in the ad. Let's bring in the legends. Legends, how are you today? You guys saw Barkley.
Hey, Don.
Hi, Don.
Hi. So, but before we have Dr. Frita.
What's good, everybody?
Hey, y'all.
Hey. So what do you guys think of Jen Psaki? You got to talk to her before. What did you think of the attacks on her?
Made my blood boil. Ugh.
Go on.
Bad.
I understood exactly what she said when she said it because it was real. It was true. I didn't pray all damn day long, but I still have to put in the work. I still have to take action, and that's the problem. I understood exactly what she said, and fuck with Levitt and whoever else has anything to say because Jen Psaki is one of the ones I still actually watch on TV.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I hate that they're trying to say like, oh, she's saying cancel thoughts and prayers and all that crap. It's like, no, she just wants this violence to stop, just like all of us do. And it is just so, it's just so sad that we have to sit and just watch while this happens. And because nobody's doing anything.
Yeah.
They've been thinking and praying for more than 50 years now, and it hasn't done anything.
It's what they always do. Attack when they don't have the backbone to actually implement the solution. There is a solution to this, and I will hit them right where they're trying to be all Christian and everything. Jesus said that faith without works was useless.
It's dead.
It's dead. It's dead. So we need action. We need thoughts and prayers, but we also need action.
But they're doing the predictable MAGA gaslight misdirect. This is not a trans issue. It's a gun issue. Because if that was the case, we could blame all white men, attack all white men, because that's who's doing it. It's just a scapegoat.
Yes.
I think it is a dual issue. I think it's guns and mental health and the way we approach it into our society, and we have to hit it from both sides or else we're just gonna have the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we know that these people traffic in dishonesty, like that's their currency. I didn't hear anyone deride the value of prayer. I'm not even religious, and I wouldn't degrade what prayer means to people. But there's that whole parable about the drowning man that God sends boats and a helicopter, and the man just is like, God, why have you forsaken me? And he's like, I sent you.
A helicopter then. I mean, that would be amazing. That would probably that would have been
either way.
Back then. But
We know what you mean.
We have the tools.
I know what you mean. Like I knew what Jen Psaki meant.
Don, we have the tools to get out of the situation, and people are just talking about thoughts and prayers. Like that alone is going to solve the problem. We know it's not.
Right.
You're right.
Well, we have
100%
wishbones where backbones are required, and people can't stand up and face their people and face their constituents and the people who they bought them to tell them what to do. They're going to have to turn down some of this money, or we're going to have to vote in people who don't take the money.
And
right on.
What Anitra was saying too, it's not just guns, it's mental health. And what are they doing? They're taking away mental health services, or they're just throwing people in jail who need the real help.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all about gun control. We keep on saying that. They need to do something. And it's also about mental health. And they're not addressing it. It's gone on for too long.
Has anybody been here had any close connection involved in a school shooting or anything like that, in a shooting in a public place?
The closest is Uvalde
I
here in
haven't
Texas.
done, but I work at an elementary school, Okay. I just got off of work at an elementary school, and I think about this a lot. Like, what would I do? Because I work in the office, so I'm the one that lets these body into the school. I have a button and a camera that I can press to, and I can see who I'm letting in the school. Like, I'm like frontline security, and I have to think about, well, what would I do in this situation? And I know I would lay down my life to protect these beautiful children that, I mean, this is like my second, almost third year going in. And so now I'm starting to really get to know and love all these children. I don't even have children myself, but I would lay my life down and protect them, and even potentially lose my life trying to stop the attacker. And that is a scary thing that I have thought of multiple times. And then can I also just add one more thing? The Sean Hannity pissed me the fuck off, because he was talking about, go volunteer and go and use some metal detectors. Well, bitch, then get to volunteering and get your metal detectors going on, because that's not gonna stop nobody when they have the intent to do some demonic shit like shoot up a elementary school. Okay, so why don't you take your dumb ass out there and go volunteer with your metal detectors and see what the fuck happened? You're not helping anybody. And the audacity for him to get his stupid ass up on front on national TV and say some shit like that is deplorable and is absolutely disgusting. And he can go fuck himself and is tired. All them motherfuckers. Like, for real, the degradation on this nation has become a whole problem, and I just can't.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it.
Thank you, May Money. Who had someone that's in the car? They had their hand raised when about being involved in a shooting. Who was that? I can't see the.
That was me. That was me because, I'm here in Atlanta, CDC, my colleagues. Although I was not there, that was a tragic event for us. And, nobody could have predicted any of that. And imagine you're minding your business at work and somebody's shooting at your building across the street.
This Sky Blues, right?
Between the shooter. Huh?
That's Sky Blues, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
And so,
I want to hear from you.
And so
we're going to talk about the CDC in a moment, and I want to hear from you. Okay, I just want to make sure you know that.
Okay. Yeah. But I definitely, there was a daycare center between the shooter and our building. And can you just imagine? I'm a parent. And although, I was not on that campus, I was off that day. But the parents, my colleagues, somebody's father, son, brother was killed.
Yeah.
And my only thought is that police officer, all he could think about is that daycare center and drove in the line of fire.
Yeah.
So yeah, something has to be done.
Thank you guys for sharing with that. I really appreciate it. I'm going to bring it in and make sure you stay there, Sky Blues, because I want to talk to you. We're going to have someone on to talk about the CDC now. I want to bring in Dr. Frita, who is with us. Dr. Frita joined us the other day to discuss the president's possible health issues or what the diagnosis would be. She's a triple board certified medical doctor with certifications in nephrology, hypertension, and diabetes. She's also the host of the Dr. Frita YouTube channel. Doctor, thanks for joining us once again. How are you?
Doing well. Not real happy about all of the headlines.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I know. None of us. So I want to get into this and discuss what's happening at the CDC. I'll read a little bit of the headlines, Doctor, and then I'll bring you in to get your response. But the Centers for Disease Control Prevention leadership was in stunning disarray. It happened last night after the Trump administration fired the agency's director hours after she refused to resign under pressure. The director is Susan Monarez, said that she was resisting being ousted by the nation's top health official, Robert Kennedy Jr., for political reasons after about a month in office. Quote, when the CDC director, Susan Monarez, refused to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives and fire dedicated health experts, she chose protecting the public over serving a political agenda. For that, she has been targeted. That's what her lawyers said. Mark Zaid and Abby Lowell. Says Dr. Monarez has neither resigned nor received notification from the White House that she has been fired. And as a person of integrity and devoted to science, she will not resign, added the attorneys who did not reply to the request for comment. So that's obvious. I think that's an older report because they did say that she was fired. I think the White House said that. Caroline Levitt responded to it in a press conference. Here she is.
Caroline, thank you so much. First, on the firing of the CDC director, first,
Sure.
Who will replace her? And then also, overnight, the White House said that she did not align with the president's agenda. Dr. Menard's attorneys say that she refused to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives and fire dedicated health experts. What specifically did she do wrong?
Look, what I will say about this individual is that her lawyer's statement made it abundantly clear themselves that she was not aligned with the president's mission to make America healthy again. And the secretary asked her to resign. She said she would, and then she said she wouldn't, so the president fired her, which he has every right to do. It was President Trump who was overwhelmingly reelected on November 5th. This woman has never received a vote in her life, and the president has the authority to fire those who are not aligned with his mission. A new replacement will be announced by either the president or the secretary very soon, and the president and Secretary Kennedy are committed to restoring trust and transparency and credibility to the CDC by ensuring their leadership and their decisions are more public-facing, more accountable, strengthening our public health system, and restoring it to its core mission of protecting Americans from communicable diseases, investing in innovation to prevent, detect, and respond to future threats. That's the mission of the CDC, and we're going to make sure that folks that are in positions of leadership there are aligned with that mission.
Dr. Frita, I saw you shaking your head when she said, "Make America healthy again." What do you think?
Don, my blood is just boiling. RFK Jr. showed us exactly who he was before he ever was placed at the head of the HHS. Throughout that Senate hearing, Senator Alsobrooks, for example, just went back and documented all of his decades of misinformation. And I can't believe that she's able to sit up there and say that he's trying to decrease communicable diseases. Let's talk about one of the most deadly diseases, measles. We thought that we eradicated measles back in 2000. Why? Because of the effectiveness of the vaccines. RFK Jr. has been out with misinformation actively, as well as before being placed into his position. And now we've had the highest number of cases of measles in over 30 years. And where? Largely in West Texas, where they're touting their Make Texas Healthy Again. We've had deaths, at least 2 deaths from elementary age children who were unvaccinated in Texas. He is doing the opposite of decreasing communicable diseases. RFK Jr. is not a doctor. He's not a nurse. He's not a physician's assistant. He in no way has the authority to be in that position. And now that we are losing scientists, and he's already trying to defund or restrict COVID-19 vaccines, among others, he's putting out misinformation about autism. It feels like a dystopian novel. I just can't believe that as a person who was trained in evidence-based medicine, that we're all sitting around. And for the people who are sitting back complicit in Washington, including those who voted RFK Jr. in, they will have to pay either just with their conscience. I just don't know how this is happening. I'm mad, Don.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're here because I think a lot of folks are frustrated. This all sparked a near immediate leadership exodus from the CDC, institutional knowledge, brain drain, and the CDC is charged with safekeeping the public health of more than 300 million people in the United States. At least 4 top officials announced their resignations. What does that mean for the health of this country, for keeping records about health, for getting accurate information about health, and for people who are looking out on our behalf for our best interests?
It means that we are unprotected as far as health. I fully understand the people who resigned. Okay. And I certainly support Susan Monterez for saying that she wasn't going to resign. She was going to wait until they had to just officially fire her. But now that we have lost so much brain power, so many people who study the evidence, study immunization, study infectious disease, we know that very likely they're going to be replaced by yes men and women, people who will sit up, who will lie with impunity. And what this is going to do, it's going to affect our vaccines. It's going to affect the proper studying of diseases. It's going to have misinformation, and ultimately it's going to cause us to lose lives in the United States. This is very serious.
Do you believe that RFK Jr. is the most dangerous member of the Trump cabinet?
From my perspective, as a physician who is evidence-based, as someone who's board certified in nephrology, internal medicine, obesity medicine, I have watched him and listened to him share his misinformation. And yes, he's the most dangerous, because not only is it just the things that we see on surface, like the measles vaccine, he's put out information saying that Black people should receive less vaccines than white people. And when he sat up there and tried to quote the study, he quoted Dr. Poland. Oh, I'm very familiar with Dr. Poland. He outright lied. What do you do when someone who's at the leadership lies? And then he's also tried to put a block on COVID-19 vaccines, and that was back in 2021. He's also talked about, he shares misinformation about obesity medications. He said that those GLP-1 agonists were being used first line in people who were 6 years of age. It's absolutely untrue. And you know, oftentimes when someone has an argument, it's like a different perspective or a different opinion or a different view. With him, outright lies. The thing is, his lies are affecting the health of people. So he does say certain things that are kind of largely common sense. Oh, we need to increase our nutrition. Okay, yes, we do. But we also need to cut back on the misinformation that's oftentimes race-based, but even larger than that, that's going to kill all of us. And again, I look at him and he's someone who is just so far off base that I don't even think that he's based in reality. You've probably seen his sister on different interviews saying, she's like, I love my brother. He shouldn't be there. I'm really looking at the people who have been elected to make decisions, the ones who actually voted him in. They knew better. They knew better. But here we are. And just because they are scared of, you know, what's going to happen to them politically, they're now putting everyone's lives at risk. I can only imagine the people who are going to replace those in the CDC. I highly doubt these will be people who respect evidence.
I want to ask you of something that about what Sam Stein said. Sam Stein, one of our friends over at the Bulwark podcast. I don't know if have you seen the Bulwark?
I've seen them come on your show. Some folks
Yes.
like Miller.
Well,
Yeah.
They reported today that in the next month or two, RFK Jr. will formally declare that vaccines cause autism. And let's see, vaccines cause autism and should be banned. What's your reaction to that? If that is indeed, that reporting is indeed true.
Okay. RFK Jr. has quoted this one study from 1998 that was published in The Lancet that declared that the MMR vaccine specifically was associated with autism. That study had 12 children. Ultimately, of all of the authors, everyone came back and they admitted that there was fraud, that there was misinformation, and all except for one person who was actually found to have fraud. And so that's 1998. The Lancet actually withdrew that study and said, you know what, we have no evidence. Since then, hundreds of thousands of children have been studied on multiple continents, and there has been no cause and effect of vaccines and autism. It's absolutely untrue. And so if he declares that vaccines cause autism, then what's going to happen? We'll have decreased vaccines. And so let's take a look at life. We often wonder why some people who are very anti-vax, why aren't they afraid of a world without vaccines? The same reason people aren't afraid of the boogeyman. They haven't seen the effects. They haven't seen the diseases. Life before the measles vaccine, almost every child got the measles, okay? And they not only could they die from the measles, but they could get encephalitis, vision loss, blindness, polio. Before the polio vaccine, you know, and I talked to my parents who were in their 70s, it was very common to have people who were paralyzed or who died from polio. Smallpox used to kill almost 80% of the kids it infected. So we sit here in this world, oh yeah, let's get rid of vaccines. But people don't know what the world was before vaccines. And as long as we have people who are whitewashing history and not sharing the facts, then they won't know until it hits home. He must be stopped. And this should not be a right or a left thing. It should be bipartisan. Let's look at the evidence. Let's look at facts. We can argue about other things, you know, that can be bipartisan. But when it comes to the lives of people in this country, everyone needs to wake up.
Dr. Frita, the host of the Dr. Frita Show, and also the author of Under Pressure, I see behind you on the shelf. Doctor, do you have a minute to take some questions from some of our viewers?
I do. And I also want to share, I'm also on @truthtalks-live with Teray, with Dr. Bryant, where it's like the TMZ of the culture, where we really get into all of the truth from medicine and
Teray, he ain't nobody.
Oh, he is. Listen, I love him.
I'm kidding.
They get into the business on that show @Truth Talks. He has to fight for his life. It's so good.
I want to come on as a guest. I'd love to.
Oh my gosh.
Have me on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I know Jody, right?
Yes, yes, she's wonderful. At Truth Talks Dash Live is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. At 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time weekdays. And you know what? I'll be honest. It's hard when you're a man. All the ladies give you a hard time, so you have to be ready. Have your boxing gloves on when you come, Don.
I'm ready. But Doctor, will you take a couple questions from our viewers?
Sure.
Get a word in from our sponsors, okay, and then we'll do it. Okay.
Okay.
Here it is. Support comes from 120 Life. High blood pressure is no joke. It is the #1 risk factor for mortality, and 1 in 2 adults has it. That is a coin flip on your life. 120 Life is a blend of superfruit juices that have been clinically shown to help lower blood pressure naturally without depending on big pharma. It is doctor recommended and loved by real people like Larry C. Larry C says it's easy to drink every morning and it works. He says, my wife and I have seen our numbers come down. Fred C says, finally, a product that does what it promises. I'm here to stay. Okay. So, and it's also beneficial for conditions like diabetes, and you can track your own progress with a simple home monitor. You can try it risk-free. And if you don't see lower numbers in 2 weeks, you get your money back. Go to 120life.com and use the code DON to save 20% off. That's 120life.com, code DON. Nothing to lose but your high blood pressure. Support comes from Delete Me. Your personal data is being bought and sold every single day. Your phone number, your home address, even your family members' information, okay? And that makes you vulnerable to identity theft, to phishing and harassment. As someone with a big online presence, I take this very seriously. And I've had my own information exposed before. And trust me, once your private life is out there, it's virtually impossible to take it back, but that's where Delete Me comes in, okay? So Delete Me makes it easy and quick to use to wipe your personal information off those sketchy people search sites. Their team does the work for you, continuously removing your data from hundreds of databases that profit from it. So take back control of your privacy. You get 20% off by texting DON to 64000. That's DON, D-O-N, to 64000. Again, DON to 64000. And protect yourself before someone else profits off of your information. Message and data fees may apply. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. We love our sponsors, and we're back with Dr. Frita, and we're also back with the legends. I understand that Jennifer Griffin has her hand up. Did you want to ask, anyone want to ask Dr. Frita some questions about what's happening at the CDC or whatever, as long as it's in the news and relevant? Okay, go on. Who's?
Hi, Doc. I'm Dr. Jennifer Griffin, OBGYN.
Awesome.
I just wanted to see what your thoughts are. I think that our societies need to take a more aggressive stand than they're taking now. For example, I haven't seen where AMA is coming out and doing anything really forceful, to contradict what this man is saying. I know ACOG, our society, has come out and said, okay, vaccines are safe. We should give vaccines during pregnancy, et cetera, et cetera. But what do you think about other societies like the nephrology and the bariatric surgeons and everybody coming out and saying this is all ridiculous?
I think we absolutely need to have a united front. So American Academy of Pediatrics, American Society of Nephrology. I think that the societies kind of quietly and within their own guidelines, within what they're sharing with patients, have very quietly been saying what is true. But now that this has come out and is so dangerous, then I believe that there should be unity among the societies on the certain basics, like vaccines save lives. So I absolutely agree. There needs to be some type of a conference where everyone comes together. And I believe that people, when they have a choice, do I support someone who's not a scientist, not a doctor, not a nurse at all? Or do I support people who have dedicated their lives and decades to studying evidence-based medicine? So, hey, Dr. Griffin, maybe you should lead up this cause. Yeah, like one big summit, because we all agree. It's common sense to physicians. Like, it's almost laughable if it weren't so dangerous, right? The misinformation.
Yeah. Katie, Eric, did you have your hand up?
Yeah. Hi, Doc. Thanks for being here. So I have
a 3-year-old, and she was a NICU baby. When she was born, she was on an ECMO machine for the first week of her life. How is this craziness with what they're trying to do with vaccines going to affect, young kids that, she's on a vaccine schedule and she's been on one since she's been born. And, thankfully, since she left the NICU, we have no problems, but I'm just worried that, she's had all of her vaccines that she's needed, but is it going to affect her as she gets older?
Well, first of all, I'm so happy that it seems like she's doing better. Mom to NICU.
Oh, yeah.
I had 2 NICU babies, each 1 pound 11 ounces, 1 pound 13 ounces. And so I understand the struggle of that. But the short answer is, as long as she's on her vaccine schedule and as long as you make the choice, as long as the vaccines are available to us, that's what's in question. As long as they're available to us and you can make the choice, then she should be fine. But you bring up an excellent point, because the vaccine schedule for many vaccines, such as the measles vaccine, you don't get your first measles vaccine until you're 1 year old. So what happens? You get your protection from herd immunity, from everyone around you. And we know that as long as 95% of the people in a community are vaccinated, then everyone is safe. Once that number drops, then NICU babies, people who are less than 1 year old, people who are immunocompromised, people who are allergic to vaccines, well, now everyone's vulnerable. And so our children, especially children less than 1 year old, less than 6 months in the NICU, will be vulnerable while less and less people have the vaccine. And I can tell you, as far as the measles vaccine, we've had a drop from 95% of the community being vaccinated to 92% from 2019 to 2023. So we're already seeing it. And in Texas, West Texas, where there were the most outbreaks, 82% is the rate of vaccines. And so for NICU moms, kids who are young, this is very real and it definitely can affect them.
Okay, Sam,
and also one more thing. Some immunity is passed through the placenta to the fetus.
Absolutely.
So if the mother is not immunized, it also affects the fetus for the next 6 months of its life. It has some immunity from the mother.
Absolutely. And so, Dr.
Am I wrong, Doc?
You are right on, and you know it, because that's when we start having our babies.
That's what you do, Doc.
That's what she does. And for me, so I did my internal medicine pediatrics residency at Georgetown. And when you have moms, it used to be when they came in from, lower income countries, you had moms who were unvaccinated, and we would see babies born with infections that were passed on, just like you said, and they could be born with blindness. They could be born with deafness. They could be just not make it. And so it's bigger than just the adults. You're right. It gets into the maternals passing on diseases to children. But when the moms are vaccinated, then they can pass on antibodies, or even through breastfeeding. Through breastfeeding, they can protect their children from the antibodies from the mom's bodies. It just goes full circle. It's a domino effect of what will happen if this misinformation is not stopped.
Okay, stand by. Everyone's going to get a chance, but quick questions, all right? And then I'm going to try to get everyone in. I said I wanted to get Sky Blues in because Sky Blues works at the CDC. We're talking about what happened at the CDC. Do you have any questions or something you want to say to the doctor?
I don't have any questions, but I do want everyone to know, and anything I say is my opinion, of course, but in the public health area, our public health partners like the American Public Health Association, big cities, they are coming out and they're speaking out about the importance of what's happening and how what's happening at CDC is impacting state and local public health. What people don't realize is that the majority of the funds that we get go directly out the door to state and local programs that support things that people do every day, including, we're talking about vaccines. Like, that's why kids can get vaccines for free, because we pay for those programs. And, everything has been extremely difficult over the past few months. And even so, more so this week, yesterday. But, yes, I'm scared. And I've worked there over 22 years. And for us, at least for me, public health has never been a partisan issue. It's not red or blue. It's about everyone in the public sphere, regardless of your walk of life. And it seems as though these folks have no idea that putting us at risk and creating distrust in one of the most trusted organizations in the world will literally kill us and them. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm just hoping that I will be able to get through this because, as you know, a lot of my colleagues have not. And
Right.
some of those very important programs that we're talking about, like gun violence, those folks are no longer working. And so we can't do that work anymore. And so I think it's really important that people in the public understand that what we do is for you, it's for me. There's no discrimination as it relates to the things that we do.
There's no
And
ideology
it's not,
with CDC.
no, and it's not about infectious disease, chronic disease. A lot has happened which has broadened the scope of the agency. However, it's because of time. Back in the day, it was about hand washing, but now it's about nutrition. It's about healthy living. And people don't understand. Yes, people are living longer with higher qualities of life because of the research that my colleagues have done over the years.
Yes. Okay. Very good points. Andrea Pinkney.
I'm sorry, was that the one who just cussed Hannity out?
No, that was May Money. Andrea
Flip that.
Hello, Don.
Hi,
Happy to
how
be
are
here.
you?
I'm glad I'm good today. I was just wondering, I have a simple question. Should we even be taking the flu shot? You know, I'm of a certain age and I took all of the, the pandemic shots. You know, I took all of those shots and now, but I'm scared to take a flu shot.
Let me answer that from the recommendations of the CDC, at least as the CDC stood before Wednesday. It is recommended that everyone 6 months age and older who is not allergic take the flu shot, and this is why. I think that we use the word flu so much that it almost seems like we're talking about a cold, something a little bit worse than a cold. But the flu is something that is very contagious. You can go into an elevator and be by yourself, but if someone had the flu and they were there before you, it can still be floating around and it can cause infection. Yeah, it can be on the elevator buttons, on doorknobs, it can live on surfaces. Here's the thing about the flu. It doesn't just cause the sniffles and fever, although most people with a pretty good immune system will get over it on their own, but the flu can also cause pneumonia. Okay, the flu can cause severe illness. And I have seen patients actually pass away from the flu. And you might recall some of the more serious ones we've had, like H1N1, things of that type. So I absolutely recommend that you get the flu shot. Consult with your doctor always, but it is still a recommendation. And the benefits of the flu shot far, far, far outweigh the risks. Consult with your doctor.
Yeah. Monique?
Thanks.
Monique?
I have a question. Yes. I
Hi,
have a
Monique.
question.
How are you?
Hi, Don. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having us today. I have a little aside too. My dog loves Ollie. He wouldn't eat anything except if I cooked it for him, but Ollie, he's gobbling it down. So thank you.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
Anyway.
yay. There's an Ollie. There's an Ollie live.
Yes. I have, my son is going to be 35 next month. He is nonverbal autistic. He was diagnosed when he was 18 months old. And for a while, I was so desperate for anything that might improve his quality of life that for a while I stopped vaccinating him because I heard the MMR, shot misinformation. And it just so happened that he was diagnosed shortly after he received the MMR vaccination. I did my own research and things like that and came to my senses. But I ask, in the beginning of all of this, when RFK was talking about putting autistic people on registries and things like that, it scared me to death. And my husband and I immediately started working on an exit plan because we just didn't want our son exposed to that kind of danger. And I was just wondering, as a medical professional, what exactly would that mean to put people on registries? I mean, what would be the purpose of that?
The purpose would be to ostracize them and for them to have an almost subhuman classification. If you listen to him, He talked about autistic children. He said, you know, that they'll never, and I'm paraphrasing, but like they'll never be able to hold a job. They'll never be able,
Yes.
can't take care of themselves. They can't. He listed all of this misinformation about autism, letting you know that he doesn't understand just how there's a great spectrum among autism children. You have ones who go to work, ones who are in relationships. They definitely can take care of themselves, bathe themselves. There's different points of the spectrum. Holly Robinson Peete said everything I needed her to say. She read him down to the ground because he doesn't understand autistic children. He does not humanize them. But to put them on a registry, we've seen different, if you just look at history, we've seen what happens when you put an entire group together and you ostracize them. I'm telling you, we're headed backwards if we start doing that. He doesn't understand, perhaps because he's not a doctor, but we just can't let this happen. But it's going to require that instead of folks being complicit, trying to make sure they get their seats and head back to White House at all costs, we need to at some point come together. What is the breaking point?
Wendy?
Hey, Dawn, how are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm good. I don't really have a question. I just want to make a statement that, you know, we have to advocate for our own health, especially with our doctors nowadays, because if they're listening to him and not offering us the medical care that we need, and people aren't speaking up, we're going to get sick. You know, we have to advocate for our own health. And I mean, really advocate.
Yeah. Willette? Is Willette there?
Oh, hi.
Hi. You
Hello,
have
everyone. Oh, well, yeah. I never had the flu shot. And I'm scared to get it. But I've never had the flu either. So,
well, you're one of the
best. Go get the shot?
You should consult with your doctor. It's an individual decision. I'll say, fortunately, because so many people do get the flu shot, in a sense, we tend to have a bit of herd immunity. And I especially, though it's recommended that people ages 6 months of age and up get it, people who are pregnant, people who are elderly, people who are immunocompromised on chemotherapy, those are the ones who are the most vulnerable. What'd you say?
Asthma.
So yes, because you can get a flu-related pneumonia. And so I certainly get the flu shot, but of course I'm in the hospital all the time and I don't want to make my patients sick, dialysis patients sick. I have parents, if they're listening, if I call them elderly, they're gonna cuss me out. But
I got you.
They're elderly though.
Yeah.
So I definitely get it. It is an individual decision. The recommendation is that you get it, but I always tell people consult with your doctor, but it's a safe vaccine. Benefits are risk.
Is that Anitra has her hand up?
Yeah, I am an RN, so I'm on the other end of it. I'm at the bedside, and I'm seeing a lot of discontentment with the system, people asking about the vaccines. They're asking, well, did the Trump administration put something in it? And right now, I'm like, well, that's not something they would do probably, but I'm saying this was done before he even came into office. So the vaccine that's out now is not from them. But I see a lot of people worried about that. And of course, the CDC and everything. And so it kind of comes a conundrum because I know how I was taught and trained, but things are changing and I travel. So depending on the facility I'm at, the culture changes, and it's very interesting to watch how everybody's adapting.
Yeah, you know, one thing I say, because I see that same thing with patients and they're saying, oh, you know, who's getting it or something in it. I say, don't listen to what people say, look at what they do. Trump, for example, everybody's saying, oh, no COVID vaccine. But who got the COVID vaccine? Trump did. And according to RFK Jr.'s own niece, he and all his kids have been vaccinated. I don't know if they have the COVID vaccines, but I know that they got, according to her, the standard vaccines. And here, like in the Atlanta area, when the whole program was going on, making sure that the COVID vaccine was in underserved areas, and I'm talking about in the real neighborhoods. Let me tell you who was in line. Folks from Buckhead, folks from high income neighborhoods were in the lines. So I tell my patients, don't listen to what people say, people who are in power, who are people privileged. You watch what they do. And so, yeah, it's really tough, though, to combat misinformation. It's an ongoing battle.
Dr. Frita, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're going to see you soon, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Frita.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Doctor. Legends, thank you so much today. You guys are the best. I'm going to see you next week. You have a fantastic Labor Day weekend.
You too, Don.
You too. You too,
Chill.
Don.
Everybody,
You sound
okay?
much better, Don.
Way better.
I know I'm getting better. It's still there a little bit, but thank you. I should have been asking her about this damn summer cold or whatever this is that's
There
going
you go.
around.
You said see your code through the screen, Don.
I got everything here. Look, check. This one's empty. The thing that I
You
like.
drinking that grapefruit juice?
A little
No.
Mucinex.
No, I'm taking
Not the
Theraflu.
Mucinex.
Look at this though. This is the thing that I want to tell you guys about. They should be sponsoring. These puffs come with Vicks Vapor Rub in it. The best.
Whoa.
Wow.
I've had
It's got
those. Those are
lotion
good.
and Vicks. They're doing the thing.
Now, why
Anyway,
you
Don,
gonna
can
see
I say
Dawn
one
doing
more
the
thing
Can
Vicks
I
before we
say
commercial?
one
go?
last thing before we
yeah,
go?
you got to make it
Before we
quick
go,
though, guys.
please?
Quick, please.
I will. Like I love this conversation, but all these problems we're gonna have once it's all broken down. Once we get through this, which we will. I don't know when, I don't know how, but like we have to think about how we want to rebuild from here on out. Like we have to think about equality. We have to dismantle systemic racism in our institutions, our health issues, in our like our gun issues. We can't just go back to normal. Media accountability, immigration, white supremacy. Like we have to, if we want to build on some real shit that is actually sustainable, once we're through this, we can't go back to the regular schmegular. We have to start from something that actually works.
Okay.
And I hope that we can get there.
I agree.
Who else
Yeah.
wanted to say something? Was
It's
that
a necessary moment in time.
Jennifer
Yep,
Griffin,
I
right?
agree.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to everybody, I want you to know that the CDC is really important to us doctors. We look to the CDC to give us recommendations on how to treat diseases. So if that information becomes corrupted, then we may not be providing you with accurate treatment. So that's how important this is, because we go there to see the most recent treatments. For example, with me, I go there to see the most recent treatment with gonorrhea because it changes a lot because of resistance. So what if that information turns out to be gaslighting? Then we're all in for a lot of trouble.
Okay, Legends, I want you
Listen
to
to your
stand by.
doctors.
I want you to stand by because I want to put something up. I'm going to show some of the folks who are, because you guys get you're fancy, you get to be on the TV because you're at the highest level of our membership. And so if you become a member, this is what you get to do. But also, if you go to the merch store, you'll get to see some folks. You'll get to be like some of the folks right here. Okay, you guys ready? Who is this gorgeous lady?
This is Geneva from Dallas.
Geneva from Dallas.
I'm through, Geneva.
You see her, right? Kev, you see her, right?
Right.
Looking good. Hi,
Kevin
Geneva.
perked up.
Look,
Geneva
Kevin
came
came
through.
out. He's like,
Who else
Oh,
we
I've been
got?
out.
Just Geneva today.
It's just Geneva. Geneva looks great. Now, guys, you guys know if you supposedly on the iPhones, we're supposed to have a join button. We have not been able to see this join button. At least they told us. YouTube said you have a join button on. Do you guys see the join button yet? I don't see the join button yet. So anyways, go and check it out. Go to the YouTube page and see if you see the join button, or you can go to donlemon.com. You can click on watch. You get to see us there. And if you go, the subscribe and join are there. Okay. And also you can become a member. So make sure you become a member when you say join, and then subscribe as well. Also check out the merch store. You can go to store right there, or you can go to the donlemon.com page and just click on merch. Okay. And then I want you guys, seriously, I want everybody to go check out, go back to the homepage on the Don Lemon show, the Don Lemon website. Go to the Substack. I want everyone to check this out because I wrote something that was today that was, very, let's just say it was difficult to, but keep going. It's the other way. Yeah, that one. That I had been wanting to say, and it's about what's happening in Gaza. Okay. And so check it out on the Substack. And Maureen, I saw that you were there. Maureen is always checking out the Substack, but go and check out the Substack.
Substack and your articles are great, both you and.
Thank you. Now I want to know, what you guys think of this every day. All right. You guys ready for this? Andy, roll it.
Oh,
Sorry,
Lord.
I wasn't ready. 1 second.
Let me know what you think. I want to hear what you guys, the legends.
Don Lemon. Don.
It's the Don Lemon Show. It's the Don Lemon Show. He's unmasking the truth. He don't take no shit. It's the Don Lemon Show.
Don, I had my husband dancing to it the other day.
The Epstein
Jennifer hates it.
And I mean immediately.
Jennifer, you don't
that
like
song grew on me like a fungus. When the first time you played it,
stuck in my head
yesterday. I hated it. And now I'm singing it to my husband when we go to bed at night. It's the Don Lemon Show.
I want to hear more funk.
It reminds me of Bill Nye the Science Guy. It has that Bill, and so it gets me every time.
My husband was dancing to the song yesterday.
Oh my gosh! It's Matt Gregory is the person, and go to Matt Gregory's the person. It's Matt Gregory on Instagram. You can follow him. All right, thank you guys. Thank you, legends. I'll see you soon. Have a great weekend. Thank you. You guys are the best. We love our legends here. So that's what you get if you're at the highest tier of our membership. You get to be on the program. You get to talk. It's all about you. This is a community. This community is for you. And like that song says, release the Epstein files. We all know that this is Epstein derangement syndrome, and they keep trying to just change the narrative. But I'm telling you, don't let it go. We're not letting it go. We're not letting it go. Okay, so until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., I'm going to see you back here on the Don Lemon Show and the Don Lemon channel. Also, thanks to Dr. Frita and thanks to Jen Psaki as well. Just fantastic. Oh, Dr. Frita is still there. Bye, Dr. Frita. Can we see her? Dr. Frita is still hanging out in the green room, just checking us out.
Listen, I'm ashamed to say that I'm over here dancing to that theme song I can't stand.
You love it? You don't like it?
No, but I can't stop singing it. Especially the last part, the release of Epstein. I'm so mad at you because it's in my head. Anyway.
It is an earworm. Thank you, doctor. Thanks, everybody. So I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. here on for Hot Topics on the Don Lemon Show and the Don Lemon channel. Until then, you can be informed without being inundated and turn the TV off. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support.